So welcome back to my channel. This is Gamer Dom and time for another Rambles. Hopefully a slightly shorter edition this time because we've caught up with the new schedule coming out on a Friday rather than a Thursday. Last week was a fairly bumper edition because of the extra day. So what's in this week's edition? Well, update on when we're going to see the new French tank destroyer, premium tank destroyer tier 8, the Canon d'Assault. Also news of a new premium tier 8 tank in super test. Yes, I know we've got so many of the damn things, but amazingly this is British. This is a British heavy tank, so we'll take a look at some of the stats that are on the test or on the super test for that. Also, word on the street from the main man, Victor Crisley, the CEO of World of Tanks, or basically of Wargaming in total, talking about some of, giving us some insight into some of the things in and around the game, talking about some of the new tech trees, that sort of thing, so that's interesting. And changes or updates from the personal missions that are coming in 9.20.1. And some of the extra rewards that are possible, and lots more besides. So without further ado, let's get cracking. So exciting for you Frenchy lovers out there, the new tier 8 French premium tank destroyer, the AMX Canon d'Assault de 105. I suppose that should be 105, to remember my schoolboy French, is apparently coming to all regions for sale on the first half of October, according to WoT Express, which is the Russian Facebook page for World of Tanks. So it's official, so that they should know what they're talking about. They are suggesting the price is going to be around about 10,700 gold, which if we hop over here to the exchange rate, that gives us £32.59, which is basically in line with things like the Scorpion G and the Stuntwagen S1 and premium heavy tanks. The big damage dealers tend to be around £32-34, something like that. So I guess that's in the sort of ballpark of what you would expect. Talked about this thing before, but it looks to be quite a fun looking TD. Pretty good power ratio, in fact very good power ratio, 26.7, so it's going to be it moves around pretty well, 55 kph, turns pretty well, view range is god awful, 360, it's blind as a bat, 1000 hit points, alpha damage of 390, so it's got a big 105mm gun, pen with a standard round 260, 320 with its premium rounds, giving us a DPM, sorry about the noise there, giving us a DPM, where's the DPM number? I can't find it. I can't see it. Anyway, it's firing at 5 rounds per minute, so it's going to be pretty damn good, and -8 gun depression, which is also pretty good. Hull armor is not fantastic, 140 and 30. Let's go back and have a look at the pictures here. It's pretty sloped. Yeah, that's pretty sloped. 100mm sloped like that could actually be quite useful. So we'll have to see when we get it in Tanks GG. But for those excited, those working their way down the French tank destroyer line, this will help you no end. Premium tank on its way, beginning of October. So the landslide of premium tanks continues to come. I've lost count already how many there have been this year, and there's another one in super test. This is yet another tier 8 heavy tank, this time British, a Carnarvon Action 10. I nearly said Action X, AX Action 10. I don't know what to say really. So I guess there isn't a tier, so just think for a minute, there's not a tier 10, sorry, tier 8 British heavy premium tank at the moment, and I guess what they're trying to do is bring in premium tanks for each of the tech tree lines, so that there's something to train up at tier 8. I mean, there is this tier 7 FV201 A45, which is a good, I really love it. I think it's a really good tank, but it's not readily available. You can only tend to pick it up over sort of special periods, Christmas for one. So anyway, let's have a look at the Carnarvon Action 10. 1400 hit points. I think this is hull armor 130, 50, 38. But look at the turret, 254, 152 and 95. That's pretty darn impressive. 15.5 power ratio is also very, very good and does 36 kph, 12 in reverse. Minus 10 gun depression. So the combination of that turret, 254, with 10 degrees of gun depression is pretty darn good. Looks like penetration wise 226 with the standard rounds, 258 with premium. Doesn't have any hesh by the look of it because it's only 42 penetration, so 230 is your average damage. Accuracy is very, very reasonable for a heavy tank. 0.32 is very good, but aim time 2.3 is not fantastic. So interesting. Let's have a look at some of the pictures of it. Oops, so let me open those. Yeah, it doesn't really. Let's have a look at them in this format. Oh, it's got it translated. There you go. I was being really clever and translating the Russian for you. So there you can see this armor. Very impressive looking armor. Thin side armor as you'd expect. Very little back armor. Still big vehicles, so this thing's going to be an arty's wet dream. But it looks like there's spaced armor on the plate. There's a couple of plates here on the side of the turret. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, look, spaced armor here by the look of it. 25 mils, 20 mils, something like that, on top of the armor underneath, which is 250. So yeah, you're going to need some serious pen to get through that turret. Very much so. So here we go. What did we miss out on? So load time of 6.04 DPM. That's what we needed. 2,284, which is pretty good. You're going to get 2,500, 2,600 quite easily. Yeah, impressive looking vehicle. View range 380 is not that. Actually, it's pretty. I don't know. It's okay. 380 is okay. So interesting. This is obviously super test numbers, so we will see whether or not this ever sees the light of day, and if so, what values they give it. But there was definitely something I read about Wargaming intending to have premium tier 8 tanks for each of the tech trees, so that you had something to train your crews in. So don't be surprised if this Carnarvon Action 10 comes out. But is it going to be a pay to win type tank? Because at the end of the day it looks very much like a Carnarvon that's in the tech tree, so why do you need a premium tank? Or if you've got the premium tank, why do you need to work through the tech tree? Good question, huh? Don't know the answer. So meet the new Death Star. Well, obviously it's not the Death Star, but this is the tank that is expected to replace the Death Star. It's like a super tortoise, isn't it? Kind of pretty, actually. It's kind of a nice looking tank. So this is the FE205, and so these are the stats that they're working through at the moment on the super test server. So it's a tier 10 British tank destroyer. Will replace the FE215B183, the Death Star, which is a huge shame, I think. But not for those of us who've been penned repeatedly by the damn things and destroyed. But I just think it's one of those iconic tanks in the game, and I think it's a real shame that it's going. Now I can understand why they're taking it away, and the reason why they're taking it away is it doesn't fit on the tech tree that it's on. So if you work down that British assault gun tree from the AT2 up the way, all the way through to the Tortoise, they're all very similar. They're all heavily armoured, slow-moving, rapid rate of fire guns. And then you get to the Death Star, and it's completely different. It's a big boomstick, not much armor, you know, just an alpha warrior rather than a DPM warrior, and it doesn't fit. It's not the same sort of vehicle at all. So, you know, replacing it I can quite understand. even though I wish they pushed it somewhere else, into the into another tech tree that they were producing. I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they will at some point. But so look at the FV205. It is a 65-ton vehicle with an engine of 950 horsepower, which gives it 34 kph and 12 in reverse, and a 14.62 power ratio. So that's actually pretty damn good. Hull traverse of 22 degrees per second isn't too bad for a big TD. View range 390 is actually pretty good in this day and age for TDs. That's very good, even that's a tier 10. Carries a 123mm gun, so that's probably a pounder of some sort. 30 pounder, I don't know what that works out at. Penetration of 272 and 320 with its premium rounds, and obviously fires some kind of HESH as well because it's got 130mm of HE penetration. 420 damage, average damage with the AP, sorry, with the standard round, I don't know what it is, and the premium round. The HESH shell was 520, so not a massive upgrade, so I kind of like that too. Reload time of 6.8, accuracy of 0.288. Wow, that's an accurate gun. Jesus, really? 0.288? It's going to be a laser guided gun. Aim time of 1.63. Wow. Gun depression of -10. Wowzer. What's the DPM on that? Does it say? Doesn't tell me. No, can't see it, but wow, that's going to be, with that kind of accuracy and aim time, 6.8 rounds per 6.8 second reload. That's pretty darn special. So anyway, these are obviously super test server stats, so we shall see what comes into the game, but this will be the tier 10 replacement for the FV215B183, the Death Star. Sad to see it go. So we talked last week around the changes that are coming in patch 9.20.1. Yes, I got it right. Around the personal missions and some extra things that you'll get, these orders that you will get for completing various personal missions, that then can be used to skip other missions in that you don't want to do or can't do. There's also going to be given special camo if you've completed sets of missions. So if you've done the Stug missions, for instance, you will get one set of 3 camo patterns, special ones. Summer, winter and desert. Similarly, you get one if you complete the what's the next one in the session? Oh, the HTC and the T55A and the object. So you'll get different sets. So potentially you could get 4 sets of 3 camo, which are unique and special. Now, they seem that they can only be used on the nationality of vehicle that you get them for. So the Stug is a German vehicle, obviously, so you can only use this particular set of patterns on German vehicles. Similarly with all the others. So this is the T28 concept tank. Kind of weird, those. So the A can be, they're calling it the coffee stain and chocolate chip. Okay, fair enough. Both used by the US Armed Forces from 1992 to 2010. Okay. And the second from 1980 to 1990. Okay, so these again can only be used on American tanks. And this is the T55A. Again, can only be used on German tanks because the T55A is a German tank, not a Russian tank. And then the Object 260 gets this special camo, which can only be used on Soviet vehicles. So I kind of like that. I kind of like that a lot. And all these things are retrospective. So you will get the orders, you get the camo for all the missions you've already done. So in my case, I went onto the test server and logged in, and it gave me all of them for the missions up to T55A, because I've completed the T55A missions. And so it gave me all the goodies that went up to that point, which is good, I think. So, interesting. Special camo, what do you think? Are you going to be excited to put this on your vehicles? I suppose it saves you gold. That's one good thing. Saves gold. Good stuff. So Christmas must be on the way, because every single Christmas, without fail, there's speculation and rumour that the Hype 59 will be sold once again. Hype 59, the most overrated, overhyped tank in the world of tanks, as far as I'm concerned. So why is the Hype 59 so good? Well, what is it? First of all, it's obviously a tier 8 Chinese premium medium tank. It really is a tank that is hyped because of its reputation. Back when it was introduced into the game, it was seriously overpowered, and it has preferential matchmaking. I think it has preferential matchmaking, and is just was the most dominant tank in the game. And apparently, before my day, you used to go into matches at tier 8 and tier 9, and you'd see, half the teams being Hype 59s coming at you. They nerfed it a couple of times, which is unheard of with premiums, but they did, and then eventually just withdrew it from sale. And it's sort of had this mystical value ever since then. It's the sort of thing they give to high quality, high number streamers and YouTubers for special giveaways. They do competitions, and every time there's rumours of a Hype 59 being sold or given away, just viewership goes absolutely crazy of the channel concerned. I'm fortunate. I actually won one myself in one of these competitions. I have a Type 59. I won it in a competition that Quickie Babe and Mighty Jingles did together. It was an absolute disaster. For the case in point, I think they had 10 to give away. Wargaming had given them 5 each, and they combined together to give away all 10. And ran it on the stream, and it was I felt sorry for the guys. They were trying to do this giveaway, and there were thousands of people on this stream, and it was absolute chaos. The delay went, it was just horrible. Anyway, I did manage to win one there, so I can say with conviction, I like it. I think it's a really fun tank to play. It's what it is particularly good at, because it's been left behind by all the changes in the tanks. But it still remains a pretty mobile medium tank, which is incredibly cheap to run, and that's always been one of its big bonuses. You make a lot of credits in a Hype 59. The shell cost is peanuts, and you only have to do a reasonable amount of damage to be making 50, 60, 70,000 credits every time you take it out. And if you play a good game, well over 100,000 easily. Now again, with the new premiums that are in the game, I played one the other day in what was I driving? Can't even remember what it was now, but one of the newer premiums, and I made 100,000 credits, and it's not unusual these days. So if you had a good game when you're in one of these high powered new premiums that are out there, so. Hype 59 is getting a buff actually in the next patch, 9.2.01. 9.20.1. I must learn how to say that. I believe it's something around its ability. It's shooting on the move accuracy has been improved, and I think it had an armor buff in the last patch, because it definitely has lost ground. But every Christmas there's a rumour that this thing's going to be sold, and sure enough, we're already talking about potentially it's going to be sold. Is it relevant anymore? Would I believe Wargaming saying they're never going to sell a tank? Of course not. They'll sell their own grandmothers if it made a profit. And I would never be surprised if the Type 59 came back on. It would probably be in one of those ridiculously high cost packages that they love doing, because they know that people will fall over themselves to buy it, even though it is not what it used to be. Anyway, Christmas is coming. So this has got the Ego Warriors up in a twist, and their knickers in a twist. Is apparently in the next Clan Wars campaign will have no tank reward with it. Shock, horror, probe. Wow. Yeah. So basically, for those who don't play Clan Wars, the more successful your clan is, and the players who play for that clan, you collect. I don't know, it's points or some sort of ranking anyway that allows you to then convert and buy a special one-off tank. The tank is only and genuinely only seems to be sold for Clan Wars. It's not made available at any other time. And I know we can't believe a word that Wargaming say about certain tanks never being sold again. Mutant. They don't seem to do it with the Clan Wars. It seems genuinely to be the case that once it's sold for Clan War purposes, that is it. It never comes out again. So it's definitely something people want, because it means they can show off because they've got a tank that nobody else will ever own. However, there's been a lot of issues around some of these tanks. The trying to people going after them. So what they've said, what they're quoting here, this is the Armored Patrol blog, as you can see. It's saying they're quoting a Wargaming employee who's commenting on this, saying that basically it's caused too much trouble, too much fixing, selling of campaign slots for clans so that you can compete to get these tanks, that they just don't think it's worth it, and it's creating toxicity, or even more toxicity into the game. So they're not going to give out tanks anymore. Now the cynics amongst us would say, well, they don't want to give them away because they want us to buy them. I mean, everybody buy them. Now, you could only buy these reward tanks if you were in the winning, in the team, and you were in the highest slots. You did really well. But obviously that's a very small number of the actual player base, whereas if you can sell them to the broader player base, you'll make much more money. But I wouldn't dare to suggest that. But don't know what people think about that. Clan Wars, do you only play it for the tank? Or do you play it for the strategic fun and games of playing the campaigns? I don't know, I've never played it, so I can't honestly say. I would love to get my hands on some of the tanks that they sell through that, but I've never played Clan Wars, so I can't comment. But I'm sure people have, so let me know. Oh, it wouldn't be a Rambles without a Q&A session, would it? So this time we're honoured to read the words from Victor Kisley, who is the CEO of Wargaming. So he is God at Wargaming, and he I don't know where this came out of one of the Russian websites, translated and appears on a couple of the English-speaking websites. This is Status Report, talking about the state of the game and some of the updates coming and potentially coming through down the line. So he was asked about basically whether they're going to run out of tanks. What they'll do about it, and the answer from that was there's plenty. Basically, he said there's a Polish, Italian, and Hungarian tanks that have been researched and looked through, which should keep them going basically for a good while, which is probably true. But they'll also need to look at other ways of doing it. They don't see that as being crucial to the development of the game, so they're looking at grand battles and other kind of mechanics into the game which will keep people interested, and I guess they'll keep throwing premiums at us. Why not? Doesn't say that, that's me making up. The other thing said, do you plan to add modern tanks into the game? Now, this has always been one of the big blocks on the game, so Wargaming's sort of raison d'etre is to take it up to a period not long after the war, after the Second World War, so around the Korean War kind of thing, which is why we don't get all the modern reactive armour that you get on Armoured Warfare, and I think it's just come into War Thunder, hasn't it, I think, and you won't get wire guided missiles and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting that it's one of those things that's continually talked about, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. So and I guess they need to have a niche to fill. But it's not coming, so don't expect it. Now that's bad news if you want the Chieftain. One of the things that's always been talked about why the Chieftain has not come into the game proper, at least on the PC, is that it's too modern. it brings you into the modern period, and that's not what Wargaming is about with World of Tanks. But we'll see. Single player campaigns have appeared on the console. Are there any plans to develop anything like that for the PC? Well, we'll see how it goes. Initially, World of Tanks is a PvP game, but not everybody likes PvP. You can't forget that the whole industry was built on PvE. So they're basically going to look into it. So that's the idea, that instead of playing against other players, you actually play side by side, a bit like Armored Warfare. If you've ever played that, there is a game mode in there where you are on a team of other players against AI, and some would say, myself included, that was the most fun of Armored Warfare. Wargaming has just created, or World of Tanks has just completed its first session of ranked battles, which was heavily criticised. Do you consider that criticism justified? So basically what they were saying is that the problem with it is people just spammed gold, they sat at the back, they milked the system basically. He describes ranked battles as skill-based matchmaking, which is stretching a point a bit, but yeah, I can see to a degree that's true, because the way it works is that you play other players with the same kind of ranking as you. So those at level 1 will all play against each other. Those at level 2 will play against 3, 4, and upwards. So in theory, to be up at the top end, you've got to have been pretty good, because you've won your way through and got all those games. So that means there is some degree of skill-based matchmaking. So we'll see. So he's saying we're taking into account their feedback for the second session. So that basically means that they've changed the way that you win. In the past, you got the reward for losing as long as you're in the top 3, I think it was. And that's no longer the case. That's changed. So that should make it a little bit. And the reason why that was a problem was that players were sitting on the baseline and just waiting to milk damage, because that's how you finished high on the table. So you made sure, if you didn't commit yourself too much, you could sit back, farm lots of damage, and if your team happened to lose, well, it didn't really matter, because you're pretty much the last tank standing, and you've milked as much damage as you possibly can, which means you finish in the top, whatever it was, 3, 5, I forget now, and you'll get the benefit whether you'd won or not. So and that's just stupid and shouldn't be allowed. So they've stopped this, hopefully stopping that process. And I have to say, the one ranked battle I played recently, it wasn't too bad actually. It's only tier 10, which is a problem for me because I don't really like tier 10s. He takes on the board the fact that if people criticise, it means they like it, that they're interested in it. So that's kind of interesting perspective, and I guess that's right. So I think they're going to keep persisting. And he said earlier on in the answers, he said he wanted grand battles, which is basically ranked battles, to come into the game. So it's going to happen because he's the boss. So they're going to keep refining ranked battles. They'll keep working on it and updating it, but it looks like it's going to be here for at least another series, so we shall see. Are you playing a lot? I presume it means World of Tanks. He says he plays tanks and ships, and he platoons in Blitz with his son, and since the closed beta he's been playing Total War Arena. So yeah, he seems to play his own games, so he eats his own dog food, as the expression goes. It was recently revealed that Blitz will have tanks from Warhammer 40k. Really? Oh my god. Blitz, it could be platoony, it's cartoony, I guess. Whatever. I just hope that doesn't come into World of Tanks on the PC. There's too many cartoon tanks already. Recently, Sega and Creative Assembly have become your partners. How did this cooperation for Total War Arena start? When we did Operation Bagration in a different exhibition, I first pestered Creative Assembly and then Sega about doing something Second World War. They really didn't want to go. It didn't really go anywhere, but I knew people there. So they talked about starting the game, so Yeah, there you go. Now I am on the beta test for Total War Arena. I plan at some point to bring some videos of it. I can't say I really enjoy it. It's quite tough to play, and maybe I'm just not very good at it. But I thought the same when it was on stream before Wargaming picked it up, and it didn't actually seem to have changed an awful lot from those days. And yeah, I don't know. I found it quite tricky to play, but I don't know anyone else who's playing it out there. Let me know. In December, you announced an action MMO called Caliber, but since then we've heard nothing. How much longer do we have to wait? The answer to that one is simple: work. Games need a lot of work over a long time, and it's a new genre for us, and it's a team effort, so basically wait your chops. I don't know what Caliber was, I missed that entirely, so I have no idea what they're at. Do you think there's a future for the Wargaming Labs project, which has so far only released one noticeable game, Masters of Orion? He said Wargaming Labs isn't a separate company. We understand that we have to put the Wargaming stamp on solid, reliable long-term projects. So the Labs is a search tasked with going out to find new games, basically, and different projects. So in this case, hundreds of games have been shelved, and we understand that hits do not appear every year. So there you go. Interesting. So that's the words of Victor, our friend Victor, Uncle Vicky, who's the CEO of Wargaming. Didn't really learn very much from it at all, did we? No modern tanks, that's for certain. Next few tech trees will be Polish, Italian, and Hungarian. And they're looking to do relationships with our companies, which means we'll probably get some weird and wonderful tanks at some point. Oh, and ranked battles are not going anywhere. There you go. You asked. Actually, you didn't, but here you go. Okay, so some of the super test changes have already started to happen, so always warn on these things, so the details we get and we see are all subject to change, and they've already been changed in some cases. So reported, I think last week, the update to a number of the British medium and heavy tanks, and indeed TDs, in the next patch, including the most patched tank or most buffed tank in the game, the FV4202, the British Tier 8 medium premium tank, and it's been buffed pretty much every single patch since it was introduced to the game, which just shows how bad it actually is. And it was going to get some even more significant patch updates in the next patch, 9.20.1. And it seems like they've done it. The super test numbers are telling them they've done too good a job of it, so it's not going to get the new turret that it was supposed to have. It was supposed to have a massive heavyweight turret that bounces pretty much everything, and they're not going to do it, at least not for a while. So they're going to carry on playing with it, and we'll see when the next second common test server comes out what they actually do with it. So we talked about this earlier on, the FV205. This is the new British Tier 10 tank destroyer, which will replace the Death Star, the FV215B83. They are calling it, they're renaming it now, the FV217 Badger. And it will get extra frontal armor and increased alpha damage. Meanwhile, the rate of fire will be reduced, but damage per minute will stay at the same. So basically, bigger shells, less rapid firing. Top speed will also be decreased, because it did look pretty damn good, but overall the dynamics will be improved, meaning its cross-country terrain capabilities will get better, and we're able to keep its speed. So basically that's the hidden stats, the ground resistance stuff. So better frontal armor, bigger alpha, slower rate of fire, lower top speed, but better ground resistances, which means acceleration and everything else should still be pretty good. So the ELC-11 is a new Tier 8 French premium light tank. Talked about that in the last rambles for sure. It's waiting for serious improvements, so obviously it has not performed as intended. Magazine will change with a reduction in the number of shells, but improved reload time for both the magazine and in between shots. That's and all its alpha damage will also be reviewed. Okay. The new Carnarvon Action 10, the new Tier 8 premium heavy British tanks, is waiting some cosmetic changes with increased armour added. Its damage per minute will also be improved, and hopefully this will make it a worthy tank. Okay. The Samoa SM, which is I think it's a Tier 8 French, I want to say medium tank, premium. And it's been called the French Drummer. Is being reviewed. They've decided to reduce its top speed but increase its engine power. As a result, it'll be more manoeuvrable, keeps its speed well, and presumably will accelerate to its top speed much quicker. So there you go. They do make changes to the stuff that's coming on the super test server and on the actual test server, and there you go, some already. So renaming of a tank before it's even hit the table. Good stuff. So I hope you found that interesting. If you did, please consider giving it a like, and let me know what you think about all these upcoming changes. What about these new tank lines? We've talked about Polish and Italians before, but Hungarians is a new one on me, and I'm not quite sure what they're going to be. My understanding is that the most of the Hungarian vehicles in this period were either German copies or then Russian copies, but then I guess, you know, look at the Chinese lines, they're all copies, so what do I know? So interesting times. So the other thing I wanted to say was thank you very much for everybody who joined my stream on Wednesday night, and anybody who happened to pop in when I was streaming on Twitch a few nights before that. I started to do some streaming, and to be honest, you all caught me by surprise on Wednesday because I was just trying out it on YouTube. I've never streamed on YouTube. I did a little bit on Twitch before, so it was kind of I sort of knew what I was doing, but I'd never done YouTube before, and I sort of just had a play, thought, well, let's have a look, what's the worst that can happen? And bugger me, there was about 15-18 people at various times watching, so sorry for the amateur hour. It was it just caught me on the hop. Good thing I was dressed, wasn't it? Blimey. So anyway, I really appreciate people popping in. It was great to see some of the regular commentators on my videos popping in and saying hi and having a chat. Really, really good fun, so I appreciate that. I actually enjoyed it immensely, much more than I thought I was going to. So I will endeavour to do more live streaming in the future. Whether it's on Twitch or YouTube, I don't know yet. That's completely confused me because I know Twitch is the platform for streaming, but getting so many people on the first time of trying on YouTube makes me wonder whether, given the fact I've got 800 plus subscribers for my videos, that might be the better channel to use. I don't know. I suppose I could just put up a thing on Facebook, on YouTube, saying I'm now on Twitch, but I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think down below. I did ask a few people in the stream, and it was a fairly balanced consensus. People seem to, I think most people go to Twitch when they're looking for streamers, but we're quite happy to look at it in YouTube. So I don't know. You confused me now. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the stream the other night. It was fairly wasn't the most successful night of gaming, but we had a laugh. So, well, I had a laugh, and as I say, I really enjoyed chatting to you all. So thanks very much for that. Watch out for when I appear again. It tends to be later on in the evening UK time because that's when everyone goes to bed in my household and I get some peace and quiet to do it. But you know, keep an eye out. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and thanks for watching the stream, and I will catch up with you very, very soon. Just remember, enjoy your games, have fun, try not to take it too seriously. It is just a damn game, and we're only playing with little pixels. And I'll see you again soon. This is Gamer Dom, signing out.